chartered accountants, gold medalists. What is your inspiration? What is your spirit? What is your value for your existence when you can't solve the real problems of people?
All our problems actually they originate first on the subconscious level.
Pollution that people have inside. This Hare Krishna chanting will remove that pollution.
Any yagya actually purifies the atmosphere.
How killing an animal increases the footprints of carbon in the society. Hare Krishna Swamiji. Welcome to KC Talks.
Hare Krishna.
So, very intelligent conversations, very new subjects that you have chosen. I'm glad, but I have a doubt which is there, which I couldn't ask. Now that we've been talking, we've been talking since some time, I always see you chanting in the temple continuously, either in a bead bag or with some counter or something.
Yeah, whenever time permits or we are able to. Yes.
So mostly, and most of these Hare Krishna people also have the bead bags and they keep on chanting all the time.
Morning especially, and some free time or walking or something. Yeah, please.
But they at least carry it in their in their neck and they keep walking, and so it looks like that you people are living to chant.
Yes, it is. It is one of the important.
So from a modern angle, what I feel is there's so much of chaos in the society.
Right.
Society has degraded beyond imagination. You open a TV channel, there's a new, scam. There is a new scandal.
Yeah, it's scary. Situation is scary.
Very scary.
Yes.
One after the other. Looks like we always live in elections. Now that elections are over, and then India elections are coming.
Right.
Such a massive media houses. Only in Telugu you probably have more than 30-40 always covering about issues. And global warming is the biggest issue. And I recently saw a video. One complete island is gonna go inside the waters.
Submerge, yes.
In the next 2 years. Some Tuvalu island or something like that. And the carbon content of the soil is depleting. So much of health chaos. Every third person will have a nutritional deficiency. Women are going through biggest nutritional deficiencies. Air pollution, water pollution, complete insecticides, pesticides. We're all living in a society which is full of problems. Well, you people are not doing any problem solving for any of these problems, sitting inside your ashrams happily, living at the cost of people's wealth and chanting. I did not understand, because intelligent people like you, chartered accountants, gold medalists, what is your inspiration? What is your spirit? What is your value for your existence when you can't solve the real problems of people?
So, as you said, the world is full of problems, right?
Yes.
Now the problem is actually, and there is a question of how to solve the problem. Now the problem, if you go to the root cause of the problem, everything, the place of first creation is actually mind. You agree with me? Like you see this building. Now where was it constructed first? In the architect's mind.
Yes.
That's a place of first creation.
Yes.
So all our problems actually they originate first on the subconscious level. Okay. Because all our problems are due to our actions. You agree with that?
Yeah, problems are due to your
and
actions.
Actions originate from our mind. First you think, feel and will. And that's how the problems originate.
Yes.
Thinking, feeling and willing first happens. That's a mental function of consciousness. And then first you think, I should do that. How it feels? Okay, then the willing part comes. And then you do the action. Now the so Einstein said one thing, that if on a particular consciousness level you have created a problem, you cannot solve the problem at the same consciousness level.
Okay.
That's Einstein saying. So what happens is, as you said, it is not correct that we just sit inside and chant. We are actually propagating chanting.
Okay.
And chanting is not an isolated product. Along with chanting is the philosophy of chanting, which is Gita, Bhagavad, Ramayana and Mahabharata and other correlate texts. And there is a whole scheme of life is there.
Okay.
So this is the real solution of all the problem, or it addresses to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is our excessive, greed, our exploiting nature's resources. You see, there is a saying, bad theology creates bad ecology.
Okay.
Pollution inside is reflected in pollution outside.
Okay.
That manifests as pollution outside.
Mm-hmm.
So all our problems, I'll give you, shall I practically give a practical example?
Yes.
There is so much of consumption is happening in the world today. Asha, why there is pollution? You mentioned pollution.
Yes.
Why there is pollution? Because people are running around, they are consuming petroleum and other products.
Yeah.
And this is actually happening due to their urge to consume. There is something called simple living and high thinking.
Yes.
Considerate living. Earlier what happened was people were considerate. Okay, I should not waste water. I should not waste grains. There was a feeling that nature is sacred, being the energy of God. But today that carefulness, you see, 30% of food in the world actually gets wasted.
Is it?
30% of food wastage is very huge, massive.
Okay.
So point is that sacredness has been removed. We are very callous with nature. So my point is that when we are chanting and propagating a holistic lifestyle, a lifestyle of careful living, a lifestyle of frugal living, and when you propagate that actually is addresses the root cause of the problem.
So you mean to say that the pollution that people have inside, this Hare Krishna chanting will remove that pollution?
First of all, when you do any yagya, it's a documented topic that any yagya actually purifies the atmosphere. And that applies to Sankirtana Yagya also. For example, there was, Srila Prabhupada mentions how in Bengal there was a big plague. Then when Babaji organized massive chanting of the holy names.
Okay.
Actually, by chanting of the holy names, even aura, those machines which can aura changes, of the person, aura changes of the product nearby. So all these actually, even these mantras, they are sound vibration, and they have efficacies, they have effects. So mantras, it is not just, this is a proven fact, this scientifically proven fact. That is why there are chants in all the cultures of the world. So when my point is, when we clear the heart, when our rampant the urge to consume like a mad consumption will come down, your pollution will come down.
So you mean to say that the pollution inside every human being,
Yes.
you have a technique, you have an art, by chanting it can be cleansed.
the heart can be cleansed, and the desire to desire for rabid consumption can be brought down.
So you are handling this problem at a root level.
Yes,
You
this
will-
is
you-
the real solution, changing the consciousness of the people. I'll give you an example. A doctor who was a very materialistic, was buying every time a new model and was overcharging. Once he started chanting, purpose of life, Bhagavad Gita. Now he is he's like in a spree, drive to serve humanity. He is careful about environment. He doesn't want to upgrade his car anymore, So he has become very conscious about people, about nature, about animals.
So
Another example I'll give. Which industry has the biggest carbon footprint in the world? Can you tell me?
oil industry,
No, meat industry.
meat industry. Oh, how is
Yes,
that?
meat. Because in the raising of animals, billions of animals. US alone slaughters 1.4 animals, leaving aside marine life. Just the animal, 1.4 million per hour. Just the US is slaughtering. Humanity is slaughtering more than 52 billion animals per year, leaving aside marine life. So the biggest carbon footprint comes from eating meat. And the first thing people give up when they start chanting Hare Krishna is meat eating. I won't kill any life unnecessarily.
No, but I did not understand how killing an animal increases the footprints of carbon in the society.
Yes. What happens is, when you produce a crop, crop requires certain amount of water, certain amount of inputs. That same, when you grow animals, you have to increase your input by 50 times. You see, 10 kilo rice can feed 100 people.
Yes.
10 kilo meat also can feed 100 people.
Yes.
But the input that has gone into meat is 50 times more, because that animal has been eating for years to gather those 10 kilos.
Okay, got it.
So your food animal farming, your factory farming is the biggest carbon footprint today. And I tell you, by chanting, today millions and millions of people have given up that I will not slaughter unnecessarily. Yeah.
How did people forget this basic logic? If you are telling meat industry produces more pollution than any industries of this world,
Right.
then all the environmentalists and so-called activists and everybody who wants to work on changing the working for a climate change, working for environment, they all should become vegetarians then.
See, people want to change the world, they don't want to change themselves.
Very nice.
So if you want to change the world, first change yourself. The world will change because you are a mini world. If I change, you change, he changes, she changes, the world will change. So there is a lot of hypocrisy going on. People are talking of, the animal lovers, dog lovers, but they are avid meat eaters. So they are talk of, they will conventions and everything right there is gonna be plastic. So you talk, but you don't change your lifestyle. Then how there will be an impact? So that is why, as Prabhupada used to say, there is resolution, there is no solution. There are meetings, there are conventions, there are resolutions, but no solutions. The world is increasingly, this world situation is worsening.
So you have showed me with one practical example that you're making people leave meat.
Yes.
And then you are contributing to the ecology through that.
And we have over all around the globe 150 farms. The first thing we preach is in those farms and to our followers is that human life is precious. When you go too much consumerism, when you go for, you don't own things, but things own you actually.
Wonderful. Well said.
So they own you, they own your time, you own your resources. Buy what is necessary.
Are you a minimalist?
No, we are not minimalist. We are utilitarian or whatever. Utility is our principle.
Okay.
What is required, we will use. What is not required, we will not use. Nothing is good, nothing is bad. Everything is good, everything is bad. It depends on the usage. What we can usage in the service of humanity and God, we are ready to use.
Consumerism is a very excellent point. So it is actually increasing greed in human society. How has governments, policymakers have not seen this overgrowing consumerism as a biggest block for human evolution?
No, the thing is, our modern civilization runs on consumption. The more the whole industrial civilization or industrial revolution is based on actually consumption. You got to produce more, you got to consume more. So consumption is just like Japanese government is urging people to drink more. You can see, Google up there. So economy is run by consumption. That's what drives economies. But the problem is, what took Earth billions of years of these resources, vital resources for survival, we have finished in 150 years, 100 years. Try to understand. Every resource, that is called resource crunch.
Depletion of resources.
Depletion of every single resource at this rate. We require for our survival 6 planets at this rate of consumption. Petroleum, how much? 80-90 million barrels the world needs every day, every single day. How can you sustain this sort of civilization? All your rare earths. There is a resource war today to control this, because where can you get that much of resource? So human, there will be no way, but we'll have to revert back.
And where are we heading?
We are heading towards the collapse of this industrial civilization, because this is unsustainable. This is not natural. Anything, try to understand, against nature. Devi Hesha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratya. Krishna says in Bhagavad, insurmountable. Nature is insurmountable. We will lose the war against nature, believe it or not.
Are you being very negative and, somebody who sees problem as a making mountain of a mole, or intelligent part of the society or the intelligentsia in the society is also acknowledging this?
Our society is bothered with keeping up with Kardashians. They are busy with keeping up with Kardashians, right? There is no brains. They cannot understand difference between, news about collapse of see what's happening with our climate. What happened with a tiny virus that came, and they say that was the trailer, Corona. COVID was a trailer. Cinema, disease X is yet to come. It's all over. So I am rather not being negative, I am being conservative. Actually, situation is far worse.
Seriously?
On political front, on ethical front, on resource front, on climate front, on finances front, world is going through a big mess. So you have got stockpile of all the weapons in the world today. So where is the peace on individual level, on societal level, on national and international level? So human beings are our soil depletion. We have just few crops left now. Somewhere 20 crops, 25 crops.
Yeah, I heard in a big campaign they were telling 30 more harvests left. Who is addressing the problem then? My question is, everybody is busy making governments across the world. There's so much of political turmoil. Who is addressing the issue?
Yeah, the problem is polity, our leaders. Leaders are busy to get re-elected.
Yes.
They are caught up in what is called political warfare,
Yeah.
between the ruling party and the opposition. Bureaucrats are caught up in day to day. The thing is, we are a very short-sighted civilization today. It requires a careful thought, but it's there already. If you just Google up the word climate crisis, people are thinking, there are big conventions are happening, So it is not that this is not being discussed. So this is being discussed on every single front. But our point is, unless you address it at consciousness level, unless you change people's heart, their lifestyle will not change. So you change people's heart, you change then their lifestyle changes.
You are addressing the problem at a grassroots level.
Yes.
Human greed is a cause of this over consumerism.
Oh, and that is causing so much chaos.
So you want to address the problem, which is greed.
Greed, lust, greed, anger. All these problems are addressed by these spiritual practices. What happens is non-material satisfaction. Once somebody takes up this chanting, for example, Hare Krishna mantra, he receives what we call it as a non-material satisfaction. He will not go out to seek the same, like before, the material satisfaction. He'll be satisfied with less. This is the secret.
Swamiji, is this all a theory, or is it a philosophy that is there in your mind, or there is something that has translated into the world explicitly? You have seen so many case studies where people have taken Hare Krishna chanting seriously, and they have become really, mindful utilization of resources. Have been been there doing it. So
millions of them. Not 1, 200 or 1,000, millions of them.
Okay.
There are millions of people who have actually now, and there are thousands of them who are leading what is called, who have downgraded themselves in terms of gone into homesteading, for example, gave up urban life of high consumption. They have moved to, land, with leading a life based on land and cows. There are thousands of them.
Okay.
And they want to recycle everything. They want to respect God's nature, which is a God's energy. And they have become conscious, so much so that a drop of water should not be wasted. A grain of rice should not be wasted. That comes from when we understand that everything is precious, everything is creation of God. Nature is sacred.
So your spiritual process is elevating people.
Yes.
And people are being mindful about utilizing the resources given by God.
Yes.
So can we call you spiritual environmentalists?
Yes, we are. Or I would say this is real environmentalism. Even if you don't prefix the word spiritual, this is real environmentalism.
Okay.
Because when we say nature, so unless you consider whose nature, I say your nature is good, her nature is bad, his nature is good.
Yes.
So nature is an energy. Energy comes from an energetic source. So Bhagavad Gita defines Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. Nature means God's nature.
Okay.
So once you consider that, even an ant in our Vedic civilization, even an ant, I have seen, when you talk of environmentalism, I have seen my grandfathers, every day we used to have one storage for human being, one storage for animals. Even ants, we used to have flour bags for ants. I have whole my childhood, at least holidays, whenever I was there at ancestral place, I have put with my own ant hills. They are worried about what ants gonna eat.
Okay.
So for birds, for carnivores birds, they used to make out of chickpea flour these fries, chickpea flour fries, because carnivore today no vultures left. I remember in childhood, whenever we went holidaying, feeding them every Wednesday. They used to come sharp 11 a.m. because they don't get carcasses every time. So we used to throw in air. So they were environmentalists. Dogs were given, stray dogs, they were stack of chapatis, Indian bread for them, and other for stray cows, for ants. So they were the environmentalists.
You said a point, we don't see any vultures or eagles today. So what's the reason for that?
Because there is nothing. They say official version is we have used those implements in our
NSAID
on our in cattle, and by eating that
they all died.
I have written a book on vulture extinction.
Oh.
And my research shows vulture died because they didn't have any food to eat. We have become vultures, and we are not allowing any animal to have a natural death.
Okay.
How do you, for example, India is the leading meat exporter today.
Okay.
So where are the animals dying natural death? As soon as animals are stop giving service, we send them to slaughterhouse. So where is the India had almost more than 100 million vultures. So today some 10-20 vultures are left. In the last 30 years all gone. As the meat export and meat consumption increased, we gave them a competition.
We snatched food from them.
Food for them. So I propose in my book there should be 10% we should spare. Meat should be donated back to nature, back to carnivores or whatever. We are giving them a tough two-legged vultures we have become,
Very strong dialogues these are.
Flying high, yes. Flight. So the waitress, the air hostess asks you, sir, fish or chicken, So, of course, we say none. So the point is we are flying high also like vultures. We are two-legged, they are two-legged. But, eating the same thing actually.
So, humanity has to learn so much out of this, that we have snatched food from vultures and eagles.
Yes.
Meat consumption have increased multifold, right?
Yes.
In the last few years. Because in our childhood, we used to see people used to consume meat once in a week.
Right.
Even meat consuming families, seldom do we see that they used
Not
to
even once a week. Human society never ate meat at this scale. Never.
Okay.
Never.
Then what is this all theory?
There was like the hunting, gathering communities were there. But their food, they laid us very sustainable. They don't know any agriculture enterprise. They never had in their society. They just go out in hunt. And how many can you hunt? Today these big fish trawlers and big you can waste millions of fish that way in a single day. But they had that was the only human society is eating meat at a phenomenal pace. Factory farming.
Because of a very fact that, there is a big endorsements, advertisements and theories propagated that you need to eat 1% of protein of your weight. If you are weighing 80, you need to consume 80 grams of protein. And how do you get 80 grams of protein from a vegetarian food?
So, elephants, are they protein deficient? Rhinos?
We don't know. Elephants and rhinos maintain their body properly.
Hippopotamus, they are all protein deficient,
I don't know, So, we are thinking our science is evolving. Our health.
You just Google the
Medical science is evolving.
Actually, the beef is the biggest killer today.
Hmm.
All those meat is actually, it destroys the health. That is all now these theories are it is all there. Anybody Googles can understand the ill effects of meat on health today,
Hmm.
and how vegetarian diet is actually very healthy.
The protein hype is actually taking people, because during COVID also, why COVID? I have seen some chicken company ad endorsing on a big
There are
hoardings.
so many sports people, so many wrestlers.
Hmm.
There are so many sprinters.
Hmm.
They are all vegetarians.
Yes, but what am I telling is, after the COVID, I saw a big hoarding where a chicken company is advertising that, to boost your immunity, have protein, and our chicken has the best protein.
Actually, this whole COVID thing came out of wet market. Everybody knows.
But human
Or
creation,
it has come out or been leaked from
a lab.
whatever.
Hmm.
So, and your next disease X, they are saying,
Hmm.
the biggest virologist of the world, scientist,
Hmm.
that will come also from factory farming, or one of our labs will be released.
Hmm.
So actually meat is the reason why you have these diseases today.
Hmm.
When you have confines, you are raising there are poultry farms with 1 million to 20 million birds confined. There are factory farms with 500,000 pigs confined to. They are breeding ground of diseases.
Yes, definitely yes.
So these all unnatural things are actually, we are preparing it. This won't be allowed. Nature will not allow it to go on forever. We have to understand.
Okay.
Some child is doing mischief, you can allow for some time. Then hey, you got to stop.
Hmm.
So same way, our misbehavior will be stopped.
Hmm.
It's question of time.
If you voluntarily don't understand and stop
Then
it,
there is
the
nature
will-
has its ways,
But that ways are going to be very tough.
Yeah, we have seen that. You see how the kind of climate events now, what is happening. The earthquake frequency of earthquakes, just type in Google, frequency of earthquakes,
Hmm.
Why the earthquakes are so frequent now? Hydrological events, cyclones, and they are very frequent now. And a much more severity, intensity is much higher now.
So you have told very clearly that we are trying to work at a level of greed. So once the greed of humanity is addressed, then all the problems are automatically solved.
Yes.
And that you are trying
Dirt inside actually is causing,
the pollution inside your mind, pollution inside your heart is actually making you go crazy.
And our spiritual master,
Hmm.
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur,
Hmm.
he said, actually there is no shortage in the world.
Hmm.
Only shortage is proper consciousness.
Okay.
I tell you an example.
Hmm.
Do you know the biggest outlay, the biggest expenditure of human resources in which one particular area? Where we are spending our biggest amount of money, each country?
Weapons.
Defense.
Yeah.
Trillions of dollars is going in defense budget.
Yeah.
And what is that defense? Killing each other?
Yeah. Destructing environment directly.
Now the thing is, okay, there are two wild animals, they may fight.
Hmm.
Where is the need for so-called educated, civilized, cultured human beings to fight like cats and dogs?
But when
Cats and dogs can fight with claws and without.
yeah, they don't cause any damage to the nature by their fight.
Do you know, if 2%, 5% of defense outlay is given to education, health, sanitation, housing, the world problem will be solved. Poverty can be solved.
Agreed.
$1 million missile costing missile. It's over in 3 seconds. Hundreds of billions dollar. What is there to fight between Ukraine and Russia? They can live happily. Ukraine can live happily. Russia can live happily. So are we civilized?
No.
And I tell you, so that where this we need to learn philosophy. What is that to fight for? India, China. What I have problem with a person in Beijing? I haven't been to Beijing. But we are spending hundreds of billions of dollars per year. They are spending for no reason, for tracts of land where a grass doesn't grow. A piece of grass. So it is all that we are thinking this is my land, and this is what, that's where chanting and Gita comes into play. And the word actually has no shortage. Only thing lacking is proper consciousness.
Makes a lot of sense, Swamiji. So you have addressed it. So chanting is actually solution to many problems, like you are telling. But let us see how it, translates into proper actions going forward.
You try for a week and see the fun.
Definitely, I'll promise you that I'll chant now to see whether I can clean the pollution that is inside. So, and you said about materialistic happiness versus non-materialistic happiness. So let me try this chanting and see how it inspires me. Thank you so much, Swamiji, for a wonderful session. Hare Krishna.